everyone. Welcome again to our devotional time. And for this morning, what we will be taking up is the question, what if our dreams are too difficult? Because isn't it that we've had dreams that are just so difficult for us to achieve? Like we've done everything we could do, but then we reach the part where we go, okay, that's enough. Either I don't have money anymore, or I just can't take it anymore. I need to sleep now, or something comes up and we just say, stop. Let me breathe, or let me stop. Okay. Now, in the Bible, we see dreams in a number of characters, but one character that I love to talk about is Abraham. Before his name was changed to Abraham, it was Abram, and he had this real longing for a son, to have a son. His wife Sarah was barren, and yet he would go, oh, if only I would have a son. And this was something that he couldn't fulfill. He couldn't have a son on his own, like his own strength, his own power. Like how can you if your wife is naturally barren? So in Genesis 15, okay, when Abraham was giving God his longing, I want a child, and he was like, will my servant Eliezer inherit my estate and I will die childless? God does something to Abraham. He takes Abraham outside to look at the sky. And in Genesis 15, 5-6, it says this, and he, God, brought him, Abram, outside and said, look now toward the heavens and count the stars, if you are able to number them. Then he said to him, so shall your descendants be. And he, Abram, believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him as righteousness. Now, I want you to take a look at something. Abraham just wanted one child. But when God told Abraham to look at the sky and showed him, this is how many descendants you're going to have, as numerous as the stars, what was God doing? He was saying to Abraham, oh, you know what? That little dream that you think is impossible, it's not at all impossible to me. In fact, I have an even bigger dream than yours. You're thinking of one child, I'm thinking of numerous children. In fact, I'm thinking of a nation. And they will come, like these people will come from you, your bloodline. And this should make us stop and go, wait a minute, my dreams are so tiny compared to God's dreams? Yes. He has a panoramic view of history. And his heart for each one of us is such that if we give him one little dream, he's going to go, okay, now look what I'm going to do. Look what daddy's going to do. Okay. So, God can dream in big scale fashion. Let's trust that kind of heart that God has. Now, in Genesis 15, there is more of a drama that takes place. You see, Abraham is given this like he does this sacrifice, like he halves some animals, okay. And in Hebrew culture, okay, let me just read this from my notes. Okay, in Hebrew culture, there is a practice called the walk of blood. Here, the participants in the blood covenant walk in a figure-8 shape between the halves of slain animals. They pronounce a blessing and curse, which essentially means that the one who breaks this covenant or promise will die like these animals. It was also tantamount to saying, just as this animal gave its life, so I will give my life for you if necessary. Okay, now, there was a question that Abraham asked God, and it was this: how can I know that I will gain possession of it, or of the nation that God wanted him to have? Because God was also saying, hey, you know what? You walk this territory, the length and breadth of this territory, because every place that your foot will tread on, I'm giving that to you. Okay, and of course, with territory, with inheritance, there has to be the possessors of that inheritance, meaning the children of Abraham, And so it really seems so impossible. And so there's that question. There is that question. How can I know that that this will be fulfilled? Because it seems really impossible. And take note that at that time, those who were living in that land were the parasites. You know, the Kenites, the Kenizzites, Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephites, Amorites, Canaanites. So a whole shebang of parasites. And yet God was like, no. You know, there is a nation in you, okay? And it's going to come out, and I am going to give you a child, but your descendants will be like as numerous as the stars in the sky, but they will have land. Okay, what did God do? Okay, while Abraham was there trying to like keep the vultures away, keep the birds away from the house, Abraham is placed into a deep sleep. Now, doesn't that remind you of someone else in the Bible who was placed into a deep sleep so that something beautiful could come out? Doesn't that remind you of Adam, who was placed into a deep sleep so that God could fashion Eve? And so what happens when Abraham was placed into a deep sleep? Something happens. It's as if this light, right? The Bible does say that light, there's a smoking fire pot and a blazing torch passed between the slain animals. So it was as if God himself, the light of the world, was saying, hey, you know, I'm going to take it upon myself to fulfill these dreams. You don't have to strive. You know, you don't have to try to make it all happen. You know, I'm going to move. You just go to sleep. I will move. Okay, so it was as if he was saying, let me give myself for you to fulfill this. Now, God wasn't limited by circumstances or by time. He wasn't limited by weaknesses either. He was God of the universe. So we see two things. Like last week, we spoke about how Joshua had to move in obedience. But here, Abraham just needed to sleep and God would move. But did it take faith also? Yes, because we know from the Bible that Isaac wasn't an immaculate conception, you know what I mean? You know, Abraham also had to move in faith, had to believe that his body could still be used for the fulfillment of God's dream for his life. Yeah. So I guess that's it. If there's something that we can really embrace from this, it is this. Don't give up on your dreams. You have a dream, talk to God about it. You'll be surprised that God has an even bigger view of your dreams. And if you're asking God for just one little thing, God's going to go, wait, I own the whole universe. I have bigger dreams than you have. And He's going to invite you to see from His perspective. So that's it. Don't lose hope on your dreams. They're very special, not just to you, but to God Himself.